Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. And today I'm joined by Vivian Chauvet. We met at the 5D event in Las Vegas a few weeks ago, and we were both sitting at the same table, kind of talking. And we're like, at some point, we should get together and share information. She is a very amazing lady, and she's going to talk about her connections with the Arcturians. Vivian, thank you for joining us, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Michael, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure meeting with you and connecting and also sharing a space at the ET Disclosure panel at the 5D event. So thank you for having me. Love to talk about my connections. So like you mentioned, my name is Vivian Chauvet, and I am known as an advanced biological Arcturian hybrid. And what the word hybrid means in my case is really the blend of a human mother. My mother is human, and my father, my biological father, is 100% Arcturian. And this is where I came about. It's more complex than that, but just in a nutshell, just to bring some semantics.
Mm.
So I'm very happy to be on this planet at this stage of so much changes and opportunity that's coming through the pipeline, so to speak, and what we've been preparing for eons of times. I'm very privileged to be also so an active part of being Arcturian, and also how I have been engineered biologically by them to hold very specific frequencies and level of connections to them and other. I work also with other groups like the Lyrans, we're very connected to them, the Andromedans, the High Council of the Syrians, especially the white-blue group of the Syrians that we work very actively with. I also work with an aspect of a group of from Orion, the positive aspect of Orion, those who are on this earth, healing the past and healing also the karmic timelines on the planet and other groups that are not necessarily known by names. And I am just feel very privileged to be here at these times.
That's fantastic. And I have a connection with Sirius, and so it's interesting that you work with the Syrians as well. So I feel like I actually have a incarnation that's actually simultaneously being lived in the Sirius 5D, 6D kind of consciousness. And sometimes I get downloads, and that connection has grown stronger over time. So what I love about your work, you're helping people make those connections that they have, and understanding that basically all of us are star seeds at some point, and some of us are hybrid star seeds. Can you talk a little bit about the star seeds and the hybrids and stuff like that?
Most definitely. And I do perceive the Syrians in you, which vibrationally were very much in sync with each other, Michael, because Arcturian and Syrians understand one another. We've been working together for millions of years. We used to have in ancient Egypt a very ancient healing template called the Syrian Arcturian healing template. This template got forgotten over time through the Earth history, but it's a template that still exists in other portion in other quadrants of
Mhm.
the universe. So there's always an affinity between our civilizations. So there's also an underlying of that connection with you. And I can feel the Syrian greatly in you, and it's beautiful to see. So to bring back to your question, which is a beautiful one, Michael, let's talk about star seeds and hybrids. So those words that we hear a lot. Star seeds are typically defined by soul essence, or what we call soul emanations, who come from other planetary systems, star systems, parallel universe, and other places within the matrix, come to the earth in that soul emanation, a soul spark, if you want, and embody a human physical form and live a life as humans. But within themselves, at the core level, at the soul level, they know they have a deep knowingness within themselves that the earth is not their original point, that the earth is not their original home. And often the time when I hear from my clients and I work with Starseed, is that they always tell me, since I was a child, I never felt my family was my family. Look, I was dropped in a group or a family line, and my family is looking up, and I know they're going to come for me. This is that yearning. I want to connect with their original roots within themselves. So that's typically in a nutshell, a star seed, and I can feel that also connects to you. I see you nodding. I can feel the connection. That's beautiful. A hybrid, there's different level of hybrid. Think of it as multitude of level of hybrids. Yes, overall, the human race will be categorized as a hybrid race, but what does it mean? It means that originally there's a core foundation that is earth-based. If you look at the original spark for the human race, and there's this connection to the earth, and of course, there's been a multitude of DNA manipulations and also incorporation. Just think about the Pleiadians who have played such a vital part in the evolution of adding, um, um, additional strand, the
That's that's
multidimensional
that's
strand.
beautiful because I meet a lot of clients that are Pleiadian. I can see they're just like you can notice in other people, where they're from. I can see a lot of people that are from Pleiades, and they're having a major impact on our ascension process. So it's very intriguing when you start to see, when you start to understand these different levels that we're all connected to, like you're talking about. Very beautiful information.
Absolutely right on. And this is why there's so many of them, whether it's full-blown Pleiadians coming through their systems or in the form of star seed. And there's so many of them hands-on, boots on the ground. Now, the other aspect of hybrids where the original spark came from a human mother and a human father, but in the womb, the mother would have received additional ETDNA during the pregnancy. And we see that also in my clients where they know that they are a form of hybrids. In my case, I'm a prototype. I've been engineered by the Arcturian with a spark of a human essence to my mother. And of course, we have to think that Arcturian being a ascended, enlightened civilization, everything has been done with complete consent, conscious consent, and also soul contract. And nothing is done other anybody's will here. So it's always been a lineage of connections. So in my case, my body was designed to have genetically advanced DNA material, including other DNA, so that my inner antenna, if you want, is very attuned. So I constantly I'm in connection with my collective, and I'm also designed, even physically, telling me yes, that my physical form is designed to hold permanently those higher frequencies, the more pristine energy, so I can anchor those energy onto the planet, into the grids, and into the collective consciousness.
That's incredible. Yeah, I felt that from you when I first met you, and it's you're a very, very powerful being. So when you're doing these connections, what kind of energy are you bringing in and stuff like that, and also how did you speak so passionately, and you have a knowing. For me, it took me a very long time to just to make the connection and believe in it. But for you, you're completely open. You have a knowing of it. How did that come through early on in your life, or has it been a process?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and I can understand your process, and I really feel it too. In my case, it's been an ongoing process as early, I would say 4 or 5 years old. Five has been a determined factor for me because I even at a young age, and I still remember to this day, there was already a consciousness in me when my inner being was far more than 5 year old. So
Mm.
at that point, I did yes again. At that point, my collective understood that they've been with me since I was born. And the moment I set foot on the planet, it's always with me. So five has been the opening of the consciousness, understanding my environment and assessing platforms like looking at the way children related or the way adults would think, act, behave. And after time, I would feel there was discrepancy. There was some illogical ways in the form they communicate, or the way that kids would, disconnect with each other, or create discord, or create some kind of, I'm going to shoot a ball on your face because I think it's funny. And I'm like, what is the purpose? What are you trying to achieve? So I felt like a mini spark right there, even in elementary school, because it was very illogical for me to live in a such fragmented way Where I come from originally at a soul level, we live in a pure collective way,
Mm.
a unified collective where the soul is always encouraged to develop according to its quality, to what it's best to support that soul, and still within the collective. So for me, the collective has always been important. I thrive, being of service to others. I thrive when I teach or I give an interview to reach the mass because it's a very natural concept. So all of this to say, Michael, that it's been an ongoing natural organic process. And of course, it peaked when I reached the age of early 20. I blossomed at that time. And in the collective, my Arcturian father says, now we're going to introduce new concept because you are ready to receive it. And then it's been ongoing ever since. And I am still being activated even more. They've been telling me that there's other group of interstellar ET group coming, working with me. That's going to give me new teaching. There's going to be new gifts, new downloads coming through. So it's an ongoing process where I am blossoming alongside with the planet and alongside with everyone on the planet.
That's beautiful. So I feel like, my consciousness has been rising over the last, couple of decades, really, making these love connections, love energy connections, love consciousness connections, and bringing that, into the vibrational field and, locking it in and downloading it like you're talking about. So when you talk to other people, how do you help them connect with their own, star seed information?
Absolutely. And I love what you're doing because the love frequency, it's exactly the frequency we need for the golden age and the reascension process. We call it a reascension because we've done that before. Remember that if you're here on, if you're present right now listening to the show, rediscovering the show, moving on in physical expression, that's because you've already gone through the process of ascension elsewhere. We
Wow.
have all the keys that we need within you. So to answer your question is that over time we have developed a methodology called the Arcturian energy matrix healing that has been perfected alongside with my collective and also with my own higher self and my gifts. And basically what we do is that we help people, we are frequency healers. We help you heal deeply first at the soul core level. We help to bring back soul fragments from any timelines, any parallels, and allowing that unification within you that allow yourself to set yourself free from any paradigm of fragmentation, duality, trauma, any residual, any resonance of blockages that may be standing in your way. And then from there, we help you evolve by creating a new holographic template, helping you to weave new interdimensional code lights, light codes of energy, source codes into your body, into your solar bodies, into your DNA. And we can see also how the DNA evolve. And so we're very much helping people to return to their original blueprint and fulfill their soul design. This is how we call it soul design, which is your soul purpose, your divine blueprint, what you're here for, who are you, what is the potential lock inside of you, and we want to see you in that form of empowerment.
That's fantastic. So what do the Arcturians see? Because everyone wants to know. I feel that we're pretty much in this, low consciousness field, but we're like ascending within that low consciousness field that's trying to be impressed on us right now. So I think that's part of the ascension process, learning how to overcome these negative energies. What do the Arcturians see going forward from this point on?
Yes. Can you still hear me, Michael?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, perfect. So that's a great question in terms of right now, what can we do to go beyond the narrative? What can we do to set ourselves free, to reclaim our full sovereignty? One thing I'll tell you, one thing that they tell me every single day is you need to get to know who you are. Who are you really at the core? Beyond personality, beyond qualities, beyond the history, beyond the stories that have been weaved over time whether it's what you've done, where you've been, what you do. These are just aspects of your human experience. But underneath all of this, who is your inner being? I'll give you an example of this. You talked about your Syrian connection earlier. I see many times when I work with my clients on a one-on-one, the moment we get permission to connect to them and to their higher self, after time I will see their inner being. I see the truth of who they are. What a privilege to see that. And so that allows me to communicate that information to the person, to says, okay, we're going to help you to heal your human history. Beyond this, allow me to share aspect of who you are because your essence show up today. And after time I will see, especially for star seed, I will see the inner being of where they've been, whether it's Sirius, whether it's Alpha Century. And those are also from the angelic realm, the higher consciousness, sixth dimensional. And from time to time, I will get a being that comes all the way to the 7 and 8 dimension, that come here in physical embodiment. And then we work with them in that state of consciousness. But to get to know who you are, where are you investing on a day-to-day, your energy, your power, your inner peace, the strength and the power of your thought form. Your thought form are so powerful that they generate a vibrational field that goes beyond the earth plane. And other interstellar intelligence who constantly monitor this earth can perceive those waves coming through. Think of them as radio wave coming off the planet, and they travel very far. So imagining how many beings are we on the planet right now? So just your thought forms alone can generate lifting mountain or can contribute to create more heavier mountains, if you get what I mean.
Hmm.
So just that aspect alone, I always says, what part of you is running the show on a day to day? Your behavior, your decision, choose consciously, remember who you are. And also, we are guardians of this earth. Are you in sync with that celestial being in all aspects of life? One thing the Arcturians we are very keen on is protecting life, honoring the sacredness of life and all its expression, whether it's an animal, whether it's from the mineral kingdom, or even a tree. So returning to the pristine way of living as steward and guardians of the earth in more conscious way, that what you do, what you say, what you think, and the way you vibrate contribute directly to the collective and also where we are heading to. It sounds simple, at the same time, the power that we can extract behind it. Imagine right now gathering a group of just 100 people, just 100. And then let's say for a week, we stay in connections and we all harmonizing our thoughts, our emotional field, the way we act and what we do together towards a common goal. What do you think would happen? We will harvest that goal successfully and also the ripple effect it would create. So one light worker, this is you, whoever is listening right now, one light worker has the power to uplift thousands literally on the planet. So we like to go back to the basic. We like to bring you back to the very pristine, raw energy and divine energy that you have within you. Who are you?
Mm. Yeah, your words are, I'm just like on every one of your words because I can feel you're channeling really well. So
Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful information. I'll probably go back and listen to this one again. It's really good. It's deep information. Now for me, I remember my children when they were in the womb. I used to talk to them and sing to them and stuff like that. And I was there for both of their births. So that love connection, I actually took that love connection into combat zones and had that same love energy and sent that out and created fields that were impervious to negativity coming in. So these are the things that we're doing, you and I, and helping other people to connect with those energies. They're very, very powerful, and that's what the ascension is all about: connecting with those higher energies and not getting stuck and trapped into the negative thinking. So as an Arcturian, how many Arcturians do you think are here, and what is the overall mission of the Arcturians?
That's a fantastic question, Michael. One of the things I think I can tell you is that Arcturians are really masters at healing the soul, soul healing. Think of Arcturians as a model of future self. We're holding placeholder. We are great cosmic teachers for higher discipline, discipline of mental faculties, discipline for preparing for the light body ascension. And so the wealth of knowledge that you can feel even through this exchange, and each word has a very unique frequency, a very unique energy to it. Everything invites you to uplift yourself, to create breakthroughs, to create awakening in you. So that's very much of an essence of what the mission is about. Arcturians are very ancient. We know that Arcturians are one of the oldest civilization interacting with this earth. Even Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, was referring to the Arcturians in themselves. Now, as for how many of my people are they on the planet? That's a great question. I don't have a number. I know that I have over time encountered a number, very spread out number of starseed. And every time I encounter a Arcturian starseed, there's a very different characteristic about them. One of them is that it's extremely challenging for us to adapt to living in that form of density, duality, those illusionary paradigm that is put, like we call it a sub-reality within a reality. So it's very challenging for them to adapt with their, emotionally, physically, spiritually. That's something that I have noticed for the starseed Arcturians. Of course, they're very powerful in their own ways. I'm pretty sure there are others on the planet. Obviously, I am not the only one. What I know of, Michael, is that the way I have been engineered as an hybrid, that kind of prototype have been modified and changed over time because they realized of the challenges that I've been facing to maintain my physical form, to maintain my connections here. In that sense, I know there's others. I look forward to connect with them. So far, it's been very sparse in connecting with fellow Arcturian energies. It's been more, I have encountered more Syrians. I attract them a lot because, again, of that complementary energy that we have with one another. We work very well, even with the Galactic Federation and the Great Councils we're on. So we know each other. There's a profound love and respect with our brothers and sisters from Sirius. I attract also Andromedans because also we know Andromedans are so advanced, beautiful soul. They're very intelligent. They can conceptualize new structure, new infrastructure. They're always, implementing new aspects, and the language is very unique. But that's just an aspect of who is more coming my way so far. And of course, I have come across other beings that are here in physical form. One of the things is the planet herself, the Earth, Mother Gaia, is also very attuned. We have oftentimes conversation with her right at the core of her being, as well as the elementals. Oftentimes when I go just outside in my front, the front part of my house, right away the trees start talking to me, right away the community. Wherever I go, I would say, oh, those three are looking at, are very engaged in what we're saying because they're very attuned to, they recognize, and I can hear them talking to me at the same time. So I'm very attuned to different form of life that is also interacting with the earth. So that's very much as of right now the connection, and I know that's continuing to expand more and more as we find each other.
Yeah, I found that connection as well. That with the ancient trees, I love the giant redwoods and so forth. I've had those conversations as well with certain animals and plants, and it's, I think when people really realize there's a lot more to us than just this physical body, and really start to branch out and see more, it's really opens them up. Now, Arcturus, It's been around, as far as like, I would say like ancient cultures, their connection to Arcturus. When I look back in, ancient history, the Greeks called it the guardian of the bear. Is there
Mhm.
any connection back in time where people were actually making a deeper, more spiritual connection, maybe Lemuria, Atlantis, and so forth, where at some point there was a deeper connection with our star brothers and sisters, throughout the galaxy?
Definitely, Michael. Absolutely. Even pre-Lemuria, remembering a time where even in your solar system, as you call it, the squadron was in a very different state. Even if you look at Mars, for example, Mars was very similar to the Earth, very rich into the ecosystem. There was a north and a south pole, and at some point, millions of years ago, we had an outpost on Mars, the one you know it as today, and we were sharing the outpost with another civilizations, the Antares, that today they exclusively vibrate on the 7th dimension and above. They don't really lower themselves. So the interactions with other civilizations, including the Arcturians, it's something that is dating for lack of a better word, thousands upon thousands of years. And then we remember into our own Arcturian history, even before the first project of the Atlantean energy came to the planet, we were already interacting with the Earth, always as mentors, as teachers, as, hands-on to protect and also stimulate the evolution of life without interfering into the natural development of the planet and its civilizations. So definitely we've been around for a very long time. And I can tell you, because when I connect collectively and consciously to our fleet, we have different fleet from different places. And when we travel to the matrix, we're also interacting with other systems, other planets who are also at the same level of evolution on the verge of that breakthrough spiritually as the earth is right now. So we're definitely hands-on. I always says we're pretty much everywhere and we're very much helping life evolving. We are serving Prime Creator. We're at service of the one in that sense.
So we know that the Draco are pretty much involved throughout the solar system in a negative way. It's unfortunate, but I think through consciousness we rise above their negative control systems, as we're seeing here on Earth. Now Arcturus is barely close to Draco star system. How did the Arcturians fare against it being such close proximity to the Draco, and still maintaining their incredibly high states of consciousness?
Absolutely. And that's a great question too. The word fear is non-existent into the state of evolution we have reached. Yes, we may share, let's just say, stellar territory. Now, with that being said, I have encountered personally Draconian starseed on the planet who
Mhm.
have come here on behalf of their council to heal the stigma of the past, to be really making a positive influence. The faction that we are referring to, the faction of Draconians that are here for a very long time, claiming this earth as their territory and along with all life, these factions have been simply very disconnected at the heart level from source.
Mhm.
And so not all of Draco, yeah, they tell me, yes, I got really big validation here.
Good, good.
We have encountered the councils of Draconians who are really appalled to what these factions have been doing. And they've been sending their people to counteract. And I'd like to share something that has happened to me a
Mhm.
few years ago. I was pet sitting for a friend and I've taken care of their beautiful French bulldogs. And I was outside in their beautiful yard by the pool on a summer day. And then a voice, an intelligence came through and says, look up to the sky. And look up to the sky, and right away the clouds came together in a formation, and I saw a child, a draconian child, forming into the sky with his hands pouring this way. And I saw tears coming down from the child. And I established connection. My father said, it's okay. It is a positive connection. We're going to allow it. So I consciously become in telepathic communication with this child. And what the draconian child was conveying to me is how deep the grieving, how absolutely devastating they are to see all the horrors and all the everything has been inflicted onto this planet and its people. And there's a lot of new generations that comes from draconian system directly who wish to heal and also be of service in that sense. So at that moment for me, it really changed that energy, which I still recognize the malevolent one, when I also recognize that not necessarily an entire civilization is condemned on behalf of that faction. And that really, it was extremely moving. I felt it going into my thymus heart, my thymus chakra, your higher heart, deep into my soul. And then I have a dear friend, even to this day, who she is a draconian starseed. And when we get together, her console and mine genetically come and we can feel the presence of everyone in the room. It's very crowded, and yet there is an understanding among ourselves. So within our realm, within the Arcturian star system, we are absolutely in unification, and fear is something that we have transcended a long time ago.
Hmm. That is absolutely incredible, and I resonate with that very deeply when you were talking about it. As far as like the draconian, they're disenchanted with some of their race that are causing these warlike atmospheres on different planets,
Mhm.
ours, and thinking that they own us and so forth. But that is
Yep,
that's being, a lot of them I think are being taken off planet that are of the negative realm. That's been my feel, and my intuitions and my remote viewing. So that's fantastic, beautiful. I actually have memories of incarnating as a Draco reptilian, and the reason why I went into their race was to bring in the love vibration and to understand them, like you're talking about right now, that they are not all evil and want to war on the rest of the galaxy and so forth. So that was beautiful to hear from you. So yeah, I believe, again, just like you, that going forward, as we raise consciousness, then the ones that are on the lower vibration, they can no longer be in our
mhm,
vibrational field, and that's probably, well, I don't think it's definitely what has happened in Arcturus and a lot of other star systems. So that's where we're going right now. Is that your feeling as well?
absolutely. My feeling we're on the same page, and I am not surprised about your previous incarnation, because when we met at the 5D, that's why I felt first. I knew that you had an expression of your soul that was either draconian, reptilian in that energy. I
Hmm.
knew that, and then I felt a certain afterwards. So I'm absolutely, for me, it's like, yep, I can feel that about you. And
That's good.
then the beauty of, yeah, it's perfect. And the beauty of you coming back in human form and do what you're doing, it's absolutely in sync, also part of your own soul design and your soul purpose. But definitely, Michael, we're on the same page here in terms of, we understand that those who have claimed this earth for generations needs to go. And more than that, I'll tell you one more, is that they need to be extracted from the planet and also brought before the councils of light so they can give it a chance for redemption. Because what happened is that extracting from the planet is one thing, but we need to prevent them from reproducing the same paradigm on other planet. And that's been the case, like Orion, for example. I have come across Orion delegations have come back in human form and remember the destruction of planets or remember the galactic wars. So it's always the same faction, whether it's an aspect, draconian, reptilians, an aspect of others who join and they claim domination in the name of what they think is superiority, which is a complete illusion. And then they reproduce the same paradigm elsewhere. And this is exactly, and we understand that part of what this planet is going to, that's going to need a lot of healing, deep soul healing, in order to allow the divinity, the pristine energy, the grace of everyone to come out and be free as sovereign being and sovereign civilization. There will be a lot of feeling deceived, grief, sadness about what has been going on. So on from a human perspective, we always say honor your space, honor your heart, honor those emotions that needs to be come to the surface to be purged without any judgments, and of course without any attachments to them. But let them the process go, because after that you're going to blossom in so many directions,
Hmm.
that it's going to be really worth it, and we're going to see that more and more. um, can I share something very profound that recently happened?
Please do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. A few weeks ago, I was working with this beautiful lady from California on Zoom. I do a lot of remote Zoom work, and it's
Excellent.
just as much as you were here with me physically.
Hmm.
And I'm working with her, and then she said to me, Vivian, I want to partake. I feel like your team is going to be doing very powerful work, light work for the planet. I want to partake. And I said, okay, let's bring you on board. We'll ask your higher self. And what we'll do a decree of light before the councils of light. Councils of light are those beautiful intergalactic beings of light. You can go to energically and etherically and make requests, which we call making a decree of light. So we went in front of those councils with my collective in my higher form, with my clients' higher form. And we said, we're here today to make a decree on behalf of the earth and all sentient life form evolving on this earth. And on this day, we claim that any paradigm of suffering, restrictions, all these paradigms of illusion has been implemented, be lifted up at once to free this civilization and allow the planet and its people to ascend. And I'm paraphrasing here because there was much more said. And right away, I felt these beings came right next to me, and I heard, yes. So my decree, our decree, was accepted. Right away, Michael, what I saw is I saw the earth, that beautiful blue pearl from space, and I saw this grid of golden light moving through the earth. And after that, I was brought back inside of the planet, and I saw three giant ships taking off. Three ships, and the size of the Giza, the pyramid of Egypt, was huge. They were lifted up, and they were leaving the planet, and there was inside thousands of malevolent beings that were no longer could stay within that vibration of light and love. And so what we asked the Galactic Federation to intercept those ships so they can be brought in front of the councils of light and the spiritual hierarchy of the planet, so they can be given an opportunity for redemption and potentially ascend to higher octaves of light. And so that took place. And when the session was done, my client says, I know something major took place because I felt like a heaviness, something, a grief taking off of my chest, like my heart released something very old, very ancient. And I shared with her at that point what took place.
Mm.
And so, why are we sharing that today on your show? Is just to show that we all have the power on behalf of our I am presence to do the same. Whether we call it prayer, we call it making a decree of light, we can make a very significant difference right here, right now. And this is why we wanted to share that with you.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, I get chills when you're saying that. So it's kind of like, you know, when you had that connection that I was somehow draconian, and then I just affirmed it. When you get those confirmations, it's like, oh wow, that's amazing. So I had that feeling as well, that a lot of the malevolent ones, as you kindly put it, are being taken off world. So I've heard different stories about the versions of the Galactic Council, that there's um, somewhat malevolent Galactic Council, you know, councils out there. and benevolent. So are there differences in galactic councils out there, like some people have been talking about, or is there one galactic council within, usurpers or, people trying to, or I would say other species or other planets or whatever, solar systems trying to pose as a galactic council? What are your thoughts on that?
And that's a good point too, Michael. There are always going to be aspect of beings that will gather in a form of council or meeting or committee, and they will posing as. It's the same thing with archangels. How many times, beings from the four-dimensional, aspect or other plane of existence will pause as angel, will come to people as that, or Archangel Metatron talked to me, or, this angel being came to me. And especially one of the most popular one is Ashtar Command, or Ashtar Command came to me. And always says, what aspect of Ashtar?
Mm.
You know, so who are you in the presence of at that point? So yes, there are those aspects of what you call it councils, whether it's angelic beings, whether it's ET beings. And one thing that Draconians, the malevolent ones, love to do is to pose as Arcturians. Oh, I am talk to an Arcturian. And the more you talk to the person, the more I can tell it's an Arcturian.
Mm.
Because there's a disharmonic frequency about them, the way they talk. Like for example, Arcturians would never call the human race their children. We don't do that. We see you as equal.
Mm.
We see you as essence of divine light in physical expression. So
Beautiful.
that's beautifully. So you can see the refinement of energy. Like right now in this exchange we're having, you can feel that it's really going straight to the source, that purity. And that's so yes, they are. How can you make the difference? This is where getting to know yourself plays in, because you're going to feel it, you're going to know it. There's a knowingness, and in case of doubt, I always lovingly recommend to people, ask the being, yeah, they say yes again, ask the being 3 times in a row, are you of the highest light? When you say that 3 times in a row, preferably out loud, if they get annoyed with you, that you know you're not in the presence of a being that is of the highest light, they will say, yes, dear, we are. What now? What do you want to know? They will stay in their presence. It's always to uplift you. It's always to encourage you to be your best. It's always to give you empowerment. It's always to serve your highest and best and nothing less than that. So there's very subtleties. If you hear, well, follow me because I know best, no, thank you, out. I'm going next. You can tell that the way they present themselves, and I've seen that so many times. Speaking of experience, because of I am who I am, I've always only interacted with I know of as the Galactic Federation. It really looks like Star Trek. It really looks like that. When you connect there's so many different races coming together, and there are different sub-councils, and you have the Syrian Eye Council, the Pleiadians, the Orion Councils, the Andromedan Eye Councils. You have also the Star Regency. You have also, the spiritual hierarchy of this Earth, led by Master Sananda and other masters. There's different. It's not just a one aspect, but there's different branch, if you want, but like a better word. When we connect with these councils, and or the Galactic Federation directly, we have a delegation, we have an emissary that always come and connect us. It's always been on the positive side. I am absolutely honored. I cannot interact with negative councils. This is not my purpose. I need to stay in the light. This is what I'm here to do. And this is why asking them will give you a key, and pay attention.
That's incredible. So you brought up Sananda. So it seems like I grew up Christian. I still kind of consider myself a Christian, although I feel like I embrace all religions. No religion controls me. So
Yeah.
are conforms the way I think. So it's kind of like what you were just saying. When you bring up a certain topic, if people get very animated, almost negative, then you know that they're not of the light, like we're talking about right now. So I see it in the chats all the time. People that have been consciously captured, I believe, by a radical form of certain religions, and that over time, this has been part of a trying to conform humanity to a certain model so that they can be controlled. So it's very frustrating to me to have someone believe that they're righteous and that anything else does not fit their model is evil. So Sananda was Jesus, is Jesus, if you want to say that. So he's a higher consciousness galactic being. And I've always seen him like that, even as a little boy. I remember walking up and down. I used to go to like these huge Baptist churches, and they would, have stairs to the upper levels for the children to go up and have the Sunday school, little get-togethers. And I loved it. It was beautiful. But I always believed that Jesus was much more. And as I progressed, that connection has strengthened. And I don't see Jesus as a Christian entity that controls other consciousnesses, which we see all the time. So what are your thoughts on that, as far as like, and where do you believe that the soul level, the incarnation, where was he exactly, or was he was he from different star systems? Was it a mixed star seed? Was he from a certain star seed? Or there's lots of different stuff out there. I have my, ideas about that. What is your take on that?
We love Sananda. We recognize him. To us, or to my knowledge, Sananda, or known as Jesus in this human incarnation thousands of years ago, Sananda is an emanation from Arcturus.
Ooh.
He came directly from there. And I really admire what he did, because he came 2,000-3,000 of years ago in a state where the collective consciousness was nothing remotely from where we are right now.
Yes.
And that's what I was shown, that Sananda, or known as Jesus, and other names, of course, it's okay. It's all semantics. What matters the most is connecting with the being himself, the master. That, yeah, it's an emanation. He's a soul emanation from Arcturus. Came with complete consciousness, complete connections to his divinity, to Supreme Source, connecting also with the collectives, and brought amazing teaching that sadly have been very much twisted, rewritten, reinterpreted in ways that has diluted the purity of his teachings. But at the same time, if you look at what he managed to do, reaching the level of ascension and bring his physical form, turning to a light body and being able to ascend, working with other masters like Master Salat Kumara, for example. So we honor him very deeply. And I can tell you one thing, Michael, is that I had a direct connections with him. I saw him. I went to the realm of light, and Master Sananda was there. And I'll never forget, I was in that what looks like this infinite room with no ceiling, no floors. It was just infinite, pure light, the brightest, most intelligent light you can think of. And he was looking at a distance, looking at what looks like the architectural plan of something, the blueprint of something. And he was talking with another soul. And he felt my presence. He turned around. I saw his face, and he went like this, like, join us. And I went, and he looked me in the eyes. And I can see right now we were in complete soul to soul connection. And what we were looking at were the divine blueprint of the new earth, the architectural blueprint of the new earth. And in that state, one thing that he shared with me in that state is that ultimately only light is real. And when you are in that state of pure, in the presence of supreme intelligence, omnipresence, nothing else exists.
Oh
Nothing.
my God.
Everything just,
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Ooh.
oh, you're welcome.
Mm. So almost brings me to tears. So, so you've had these amazing experiences, like, many of us have, with that Jesus
Of course.
Sananda, or, like you said, many incarnations, probably in the past, that people have, been with that soul. I feel that I have been with him in many incarnations. So I have a
Yeah,
beautiful connection with him as well, even to this day.
of course.
So as we move forward, and people start to awaken, what is your process that people can come to you, and how do you help people connect with their star system, star seed information? I know there's a lot of it out there. What do you do to help people connect with their star seed information?
Yes, thank you for asking, Michael. So when we work with you or we work with someone, we have first a conversation. We're allowing to establish what is the best blueprint of the session or the blueprint of the healing plan we're going to put together. So oftentimes people come to us and says, well, I wish to have my third eye open. I want to do telepathic communication. I
Yeah.
want to remember what planet I'm from. And we said, okay, yes, we're going to get there. Where are you now? So we're helping the person from where they are now. If you're very advanced on your path, we're going to put together an advanced plan for you because it's an appropriate blueprint for you. And oftentimes there's other aspects. So oftentimes, I would say the first few consultations, especially the first two, it's about pulling the foundation together. If there is some trauma, if there is even unconscious aspect that may be blocking that connection, we need to address that. And then along the way, that information comes very naturally because it's already encoded in you. So whether it's repairing the telomere of your DNA, whether it's allowing that interstellar weaving of new light codes, refreshing your body template, creating a new holographic template that allows yourself to open your microtunnels of connections that we all have through the sacred grids to the interstellar and also the celestial grids to allow information to come through. That's what we want. What is the ultimate goal is to see you evolve and get you in a complete self-empowerment state. So there are steps to do it. And this is why our Arcturian energy matrix healing has been developed to really bring you in a nutshell from a state of seemingly fragmented aspect to a complete state of unification. And whatever we need to do, how deep we need to go. Now we can go into the timeline, we can go even 4,000 years ago. I've seen that sometimes we need to go back 4,000 years ago because that time loop is still open, is still overlapping in someone's life today. And that explains so much to them in terms of repetitive relationship, repetitive thoughts, the same events, the same energy, same outcome. And yet they have these amazing gifts within themselves. And they know that. So let's say, let's take care of the loop and then we'll be able to open that up. And then as we do that, there's always information. We provide what's called guidance, mentorship, coaching. My team is always there. I'm in a constant state of channeling when the information flow and what is appropriate for you. And I see people evolving, and it's wonderful to witness.
Yeah, you definitely have a beautiful team. You and your partner have done some amazing work together, and I look forward to having him on, in the next couple of days. So you guys have done, amazing things. How did that happen for you guys to, your team, basically, if you want to call it your partner, your team? How did everyone come together?
Ah, yes. Well, I came with my team, so I was already a package deal.
Hmm.
You know, my collective always says, who loves me, love my collective. I come as a package deal. So I personally started many years ago when especially I gave my first interview on camera back in 2013. And that was part of an online radio show at the time. And that went viral. I mean, we went like within 2 weeks, we had over 20,000 views and people were wanting to know more because it was really speaking to everyone at a personal level. And this is really much where I became more professionally involved with my gifts. And I've been doing that ever since. And of course, I have increased my connections, my my energy level, the way I'm able to transmit frequency have increased over time. Then over time, my partner, now husband, which you'll have on the show tomorrow, by the way, on the 14th, he discovered my work because I do have what's called meetup groups, and he discovered my meetup groups, and he will come to my events, whether it's a healing workshop, whether it's a meditation, whether it's an event, a lecture, he will come. He felt a calling. He was already on his spiritual journey and he was wanting to expand more. So as he was coming to my events, he started to look at me differently. And so it came from a stage of teaching, group setting, community like-minded to, I like the teacher. And then this is how we connected. And then our story began. And then we got married last year. And then yes, you met us. And Peter does amazing work. And I know you do have the Metatron pendant with you. And he'll talk about that with his connection, his background. He's extremely talented. He makes everything handmade.
Incredible.
And yes, you'll be able to feel. I have the feedback to tell him from your own tool because I know you have pendant and his Metatron anklets at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he will be able to dive into that. Yes.
Yes, that's going to be it's going to be because a lot of people need that physical connection, and we can talk. I have tons of people come on, and I help them through different challenging things and connect with their higher energies and so forth. But sometimes you need that physical connection. So that's what's beautiful that Peter's made these, I will call them devices that help you connect with higher energies and bring those in very, very subtly, or if you're ready, maybe even deeper and more powerfully. So if people want to reach you, how can they reach you? Because what happens a lot with my shows, because I'm definitely going to put it in the description box, but what happens unfortunately with my shows, this will be taken and put some other place, and the description might not happen, unfortunately. So tell us how people can connect with you.
Yes, of course. Thank you for asking. So I put in the chat room right now for us my website. It's really the best way to connect. It's called Infinite Healing from the Stars.com. So that is Infinite Healing from the Stars.com. We have a contact us sheet that will be directly directed to me. There's also description of the services. There's a copper art store right now. We are in the making of elaborating our website. We're going to have a more expanded version coming up, but for now, the website, it's a great way. People can also send me an email directly at my name, Vivian at infinitehealingfromthestars.com. And so those are really great ways. And of course, I'm online, I'm on Facebook, just my name, Vivian Chauvette, Galactic Healer. You can look it up, send me a friend request. I'm on Instagram. I'm also having a YouTube channel myself with my podcast. Again, under my name, Vivian Chauvette, Galactic Healer. You can subscribe, get in touch with us, check out what we do, and see how we can be of service. So there's these ways to connect with us, and also I have upcoming projects that will allow more interconnections. One, I have a book coming in September. I'll be in a documentary by J3 Film coming also in September. But one of the projects I'm particularly excited. It's my good friend Lara Vazani wrote a series, a very unique series of 9 books called the Kaya Saga. And this has also been taken into adaptation from the first book into a film. And that is also coming up. We're going to start filming next year in October 2022. Right now, we're looking for a director. We also have talents that are interested. One of the confirmed interests is Angus McFadden from Braveheart and the Superman and Lois series. Laura has done an amazing job as a writer and also the creator of Kaya. Very, very unique. It's an Amazon warrior from ancient Greece, taking to space and time by an advanced race of ETs who bring her back into future timelines, and then her story begins there. It's fascinating. It's a very unique concept. So I'm an investor. I'm going to be the assistant to her. We're going to be on location filming. So we're excited, and we're crossing our fingers. We're hoping to get Mark Hamill as the director potentially of the series. I worked with him in the past. Laura has connection also with Mark in different ways. So but keeping our finger crossed, that would be
My gosh, that sounds amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Vivian, it was absolutely phenomenal to have you on. I'm sure this is going to be spread wide and far. Really good information going forward, and I look forward to hopefully, linking with you in the future at other conferences. I have one coming up that I'm doing with friends in Mount Shasta. Maybe I'll mention your name and see if they're interested in inviting you. I'm sure they will. So if you're interested in that, that'll be great to have you guys out there. See you guys again. So
I
lots
would
of
be honored.
yeah, good. I'll definitely we'll definitely put you in. I'm sure
Thank you.
get that invite very soon then.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more that we get together, the more that we share this information, the faster humanity rises in consciousness, and the golden age that we all see, out there in the future somewhere is going to come, faster and more prominent as we move forward.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly the goal with what you do, Michael, what we do, what Peter's, my husband, does, which people are gonna discover, and everyone combined together. This is exactly it, is we all converging to the same goal. We're in this together. And always said this favorite quotes of mine, remember that together we're far more powerful than we can ever be apart. And that's including everyone right here, right now, making a difference in your own way. So very honored to that. And of course, we would be also honored to go to Mount Shasta. Adamo from Telos has been saying to me, it's time for you to come back. And I say, I don't know when. That might be the
Here
time.
we are. This is it then. That's beautiful. Good to hear. So yeah, we have a great connection together. I've really enjoyed this show. So thank you very much, and I look forward to having you and seeing you in the future. And to everyone out there listening, please hit the description box and contact Vivian. Amazing, beautiful soul, and anything that you want to connect with her on as far as like we talked about, she'll be very, very happy to speak with you. All right.
Michael, it's been an honor. Thank you so much, from our hearts to your heart.
And thank you as well. Thank you. All right, everyone.